Hey guys, ShawDMD here. Hope you're doing well. I've got a really cool guitar to show today. It's a Fender Boxer Telecaster. Now, if you're not familiar with this model, it came out around 2021. It is still for sale and available at Guitar Center, but discontinued at some other retailers like Sweetwater. The reason I want to show this guitar is because I think it is one of the best value Fender guitars you can buy, and it totally flew under the radar. It just did not get much attention. There's very few videos on this thing, but I really think it's worth showcasing. And if you're just looking for a really versatile, great rock machine that covers a lot of ground for a really low price, this is worth a look. So let's get to it. So here it is. This is the Fender Boxer Telecaster. Now this model I believe came out around 2021 or 2022. It is made in Japan, and the big thing that caught my eye for this is the price tag. It was on clearance for $755 at Guitar Center, and at that price these are an absolute steal. Now, not all Guitar Center locations have it at that price. Apparently only some stores are selling them on clearance at that price tag, but I think if you call and look around you could find one. The other possibility is if you just ask your Guitar Center sales rep for the discount, they might give it. And if you're not having any luck at Guitar Center, these are selling at great discounted prices on the used market as well. I'm going to put some sold Reverb listing prices on the screen now, and as you can see, those are great prices for a made in Japan Fender guitar. Now, how I got this is interesting. I do find the best guitars tend to find you rather than you finding those guitars, and that's kind of what happened with this. I had no plans on buying one. I was just in my local Guitar Center running the racks, and this caught my eye. And I was like, wow, it's pretty. But what really caught my eye was that discounted price tag. So I'm like, let me try it, nothing to lose. I plugged it in and it really blew me away, which shocked me. I mean, this thing obviously was on clearance. It's been sitting on the rack for a long time. There's a little bit of dust on it, but the setup and fit and finish was amazing. The frets are incredibly smooth. I mean, the fretwork's great, as you would expect from a made in Japan guitar. It's got smooth front ends, no scratchy frets, which I really like. And the thing that I really noticed about this is I tend to not like longer scale Fender guitars usually. I prefer Gibsons and Epiphone with the shorter scale because they're a little slinkier and easier to play. However, this one, unlike a lot of other Fenders I've picked up, had a super slinky feel and low action. I mean, it's just like plays itself, and it was so incredibly easy to play, and my hand just flew across the fretboard way more than I normally do on a guitar, that it really grabbed my attention. And I was like, maybe I should get it, maybe I shouldn't, but I'm not an impulse buyer, and I wasn't gonna just buy a guitar on the spot, so I'm like, let me put it on layaway and think about it. So I did. They put it in its gig bag, they stored it in the back of the store. I went, slept on it for a few days, and when I went back to try it out again, they took it out of the gig bag, and keep in mind, it was sitting in the back of the store gig bag the whole time. I took it out, and it was perfectly in tune. And I was like, wow. Okay, I'd have to tune it up. So I knew it had incredible tuning stability and setup out of the box, which you don't always see. Played it some more, loved it, but again, I was like, let me think about it. Put it back in the gig bag, put it back on layaway, went away for a while, came back a few weeks later, and they took it out of the gig bag, and again, it was still in tune. And it just blew me away. This thing was holding tune so well, and each time it played great when I tried it out. The third time I tried it, I was like, that's it, I'm gonna take it home. So I did. Now, to kind of address the elephant in the room, this guitar was on clearance for a reason. These did not sell well, and I feel like they got really overlooked. I mean, you go on YouTube now, there's very few videos of this guitar, and it's not even on Fender's website anymore. So my guess for why that might have been, I don't think these are bad guitars. I just think the specs and features and what it is didn't really have mass appeal, because honestly, if you're looking for a double humbucker guitar, a lot of players are looking at Gibson, ESP, a lot of guitars like that. They're not looking at Fender. And anyone who's really into Fender guitars is usually going for a traditional one, like, a traditional single coil Tele or a Strat. And if you're really looking for like a shreddy 80s Fender style guitar, you're looking at Charvel, which I have right here. So, you know, I think the big question when this guitar came out was like, who's it for? Because again, the 80s shredder guys are getting Charvel, the Fender guys are getting your traditional Tele and Strat, and just the HH humbucker guitar guys are usually just going right for, you know, Epiphone Gibson or something of that type. And myself included, when I first saw it, I was like, you know, I already have a Charvel, I already got a couple Gibsons, I really don't need this. Now, at $1,200, I probably would not have bought it. However, at the current prices these are selling for, I think they are an absolute steal. And I could be totally wrong here, but I do believe that the poor sellers and the guitars that aren't popular when they come out oftentimes end up going up in value many years later. Part of the reason is people don't appreciate it when they come out, but years later someone catches on and suddenly everyone wants it. However, because they sold poorly, very few units are made and sold, and there aren't that many out there, and they do become more rare. Now, this is a limited run guitar to begin with, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of these available for too much longer. And I do feel as the years go by, these are going to be more and more appreciated and actually retain a lot more value than other models. The really cool thing about this is it has some really unique, quirky specs that make this different from any other Fender guitar, and I think that alone makes it worth having if you're looking to add something different to your collection or you just want something with a bit of a different feel and sound to it. The coolest spec of this guitar and the biggest selling point for me when I got it was the neck. Now, what's special about this neck is it has a medium C-neck profile, not a modern C that you'll find on, say, a Player Series Telecaster. The difference is that the medium C is just a little bit chunkier than the standard modern C neck profile, again, that you see on the Fender Player Series guitars. That little bit of chunkiness is actually nice. Now, it's still a shredder guitar, it's still a super fast neck, but gives you a little something to hold on to, and I like that. And that actually makes this different from other shredder guitars like the Charvels as well. Most 80s shredder type guitars have very slim necks, but this has a little bit of beef to it, and I think that is a bonus in this case. And again, it's not like chunky or thick, it's more like Goldilocks. It's like the right in between. It's not too thick, not too thin. I really like the neck profile on this. The other big thing about this guitar neck is that the Fender Player Series guitars that you might see just have medium jumbo frets. This has jumbo frets, so they are a little bit bigger, and that definitely adds to the playability factor of this and makes it easier to play. This also has a flatter fretboard radius. The standard Fender Player Series Tele has your traditional 9.5-inch radius, whereas this has a flatter 12-inch radius across the fretboard. And that, again, along with the jumbo frets, makes this a very fast neck and a very playable guitar, but with a little something to hold. The other thing about the neck that I really like is that it has a rosewood fretboard. Now keep in mind, a lot of guitars in the $800 to $1,000 range from like Fender or Epiphone comes with Indian Laurel or Pal Ferro. You don't see rosewood very often in a sub $1,000 guitar, but you get that with this, so that's another bonus on the neck. In terms of the electronics, a couple other cool features. This has Fender Boxer pickups, which I really like. They, of course, sound great for high gain, 80 shredder type tones, but they also sound really good clean, and these sound surprisingly good split. I know a lot of pickups don't sound great when you coil split them, but these still sound really good, and I like how they sound both in the coil split position and the full humbucker position. And again, that makes this a very versatile guitar. And I love guitars that have pickups that are specific to that model that you just can't buy anywhere else. Again, the Boxer pickups aren't something you see listed separately on the Fender website. It's not something you can buy aftermarket like a standard Seymour Duncan, and I think that actually adds to the value of this guitar because it has something you can only get with this model. And to add to the versatility, you have a really cool tone knob here. This is a TBX knob, and what that stands for is treble bass expander. Just a fancy way to say that basically when you're on 0 up to 5, it's like a normal tone. Just a normal tone knob, 0 to 5 with a shorter range. However, when you hit 5, it hits a little bit of a notch or a click, and you won't hear it, but you can feel it when you turn it, and that's your tone on full. However, when you go past that click point from 5 to 10, a second pot kicks in, and that basically just maxes out the treble on this guitar. It really just makes it cut through a mix. And I'll demonstrate that right now so you can hear how that sounds. Other nice specs on this comes with a real bow nut, Goto tuners, and a gig bag, which in this day and age, you know, you buy a Fender Player Series, you don't get anything. It's nice. It's a thin gig bag. I mean, I wouldn't trust it to travel or anything, but you know, keeps the dust off the guitar, and it is nice to have. So all nice little bonus features, and at sub $800, I think these are an incredible value considering all the stuff you get. And this guitar does come in two colors. I got the red one. It also comes in silver. They both look awesome. You can also get a Fender Boxer Telecaster, which is a bit different. I'm not going to go over that one. I'm not as familiar with it, but definitely check those out if you're into the Strat body style. So, final thoughts. In a world where guitars are just getting more and more expensive, everything's getting more expensive, it's nice to see something that has nice, good specs and good features for under $1,000, and you can pretty easily find these because, again, they weren't too popular and there's plenty available, so definitely worth a look. If you're a guitar player with a pretty good collection with traditional Fenders and Gibsons, this gives you something different. You know, you got a Fender style tele body with longer scale and some really unique quirky specs, so it adds a little something different to your collection. Or if you're just looking for one guitar that can cover a lot of ground, again, this is very versatile. You've got that TBX knob here, which just adds a lot of different tones, and you have the coil split feature. So I think this guitar can cover a ton of ground on its own, and it's a really good guitar to have if you're just looking for one guitar to own. Anyways, hope you guys found that helpful. I just wanted to show this guitar because these are selling out. They're already unavailable on Sweetwater and a few other places, but Guitar Center still seems to have them. And again, I think for the price these are now, great value guitar and probably the best value Fender in my opinion. Hope you like that. Thanks so much for watching. Definitely like and subscribe for more videos and covers. Rock on, take care, be well guys. Bye.